What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, I gotta be honest, I was just a little surprised to see that Marvel was going to push forward with filming on several productions into the summer in the face of the writer's strike, and mostly because if the writer's strike wasn't up for a studio that loves to rewrite their movies on set, in post-production, they weren't going to be able to do any of that. Well, as of right now, 2 movies are still a go, but they've had to press pause on the Thunderbolts. We're going to talk about exactly what happened, why they're pressing pause on this, what it means for other movies like Deadpool and Captain America New World Order, where the real constraints are, and how this may all get much worse headed into the summer and cause Marvel Studios to shut down completely, which is going to make that ever-looming San Diego Comic-Con announcement for a brand new slate even that much more tricky for the studio. We're breaking down the next 6 months in Hollywood and what it means for Marvel, but first I want to tell you about my friends over at comicbookdirect.com. They are a brand new website that's really putting the ease of buying comic books all in one place. You can go there and get the one-offs you need. They work with all the major distributors, including Marvel, but the major feature, and especially for me, is that if you're in the middle of a run, you can go ahead and subscribe and get those books delivered to you weekly, which makes it easier than ever, especially in the modern day of Marvel, to keep up with these stories. You can go ahead and pay in advance, get a bigger discount, or just pay as you go. And if you act now, for the next 100 people who sign up below, you're going to get 20% off. That link is down in the description. Again, that's comicbookdirect.com, the easiest place to get everything from figures, mangas, collectibles, and especially the comics you want. Okay, so this report is actually coming from Deadline in the last day or so under the headline, Marvel pushes pause on Thunderbolts production due to writer's strike, where they go on to report exclusive quote, Marvel Studios is delaying filming on another upcoming movie as Deadline has learned that the studio's Thunderbolts pick has pushed pause on the upcoming production, which was set to start shooting in 3 weeks in Atlanta. The crew was notified today, and insiders say the plan is to resume production once the strike has ended. The move comes after Marvel has also pushed pause on the pre-production for the Blade pick, which was expected to shoot in June as well. The studio has also been forced to recently halt production on the TV series Wonder Man, which has been shooting in Los Angeles and had stopped production in the recent days. Like Thunderbolts, the plan is to resume Wonder Man and Blade as soon as the strike is over. Okay, so while this article doesn't say it in black and white, if you read between the lines just a little bit, it's exactly what I suspected. Basically, not everyone had made it to set yet. Everyone was still descending on the area, and they said, wait, we've got 3 weeks to go before this even starts. Things could get worse. Let's just go ahead, pull the plug on this production before it even starts, and then you're not paying for flights, you're not paying partial salaries, you're just saying, hey, let's put the huge pause on this, because that's what happened with Wonder Man. They were already filming, and because of picket lines and the such, they had to stop. Now, Blade's in a little bit of a different position because they had reportedly brought on their 3rd writer, and right before they were set to start filming. So given everything that's going on right now, that one was in a really tricky spot. The script may have caused them to delay it anyway. Maybe it wouldn't have made its filming date. Much different than Thunderbolts that has been written for quite some time. But as all these articles have gone on to remind us, you cannot write at all during the writer's strike. The only one who can amend the script in any way is the director. That's why Ryan Reynolds has reportedly not been able to and won't be able to improv any of his lines on the set of Deadpool 3, an actor that's known for doing this. Marvel, a studio that's known for multiple rewrites, none of that can happen. Now, if they're confident in the script is done, the director can take slight liberties with lines, and we'll expect that's what's going on. But the director can only do that if there is one. And right around the corner this summer, it's possible that the directors and or the actors, the SAG Guild, is going to go on strike as well. Which, to be clear, no actors, no directors, no writers, all of Hollywood would come to a screeching halt. Now, how likely is this to happen? At least the people cutting the checks, the people whose money is on the line, they think pretty likely. This is an exclusive from Deadline just days ago, in a seismic development for the indie sector, which could have rippling effects across the whole film and TV ecosystem. Bond companies are refusing to insure movies ahead of the potential SAG-AFTRA strike on July 1st. And so these are the guys who are bonding and insuring, basically cutting the check for this film, and they know they'll be out if that strike actually goes down, so they're just not willing to do it. And although they use the word indie in this article, this was a Joaquin Phoenix movie. This was a huge film, and now it just can't get the money it needs, the insurance it needs to actually set filming. So as far as the perspectives from people who have the money on the line, they think that this is definitely going to happen in July, which, if you look at the calendar, is literally just over a month away. If the writers' strike isn't resolved by then, and SAG-AFTRA, the directors, everybody ends up going on strike behind them, we'll be talking about a much different thing, and that will only be weeks before San Diego Comic-Con, when Marvel Studios was potentially going to shake up everything and give us a brand new look at some semblance of what the new slate might be for the Multiverse Saga. Now, two things important to point out. Number one, if you're wondering what all the striking going on is about, the writers and eventually the directors, the actors, they want more money because a lot of the negotiations that are in place between these guilds and the industry, and when I say the industry, I mean multiple studios at once, all meeting at the table on the same side, which seems impossible, I know, right? The big deal is the money that is being generated from the streaming revenue that wasn't quite as built out as it is now when some of these negotiations took place. Basically, Disney didn't even have Disney Plus, and so since they didn't, there's no real onus on Disney to go ahead and pay any of that money out. See the original Black Widow case, it has a lot to do with that. Now, we've also heard in the industry, and this is strictly speculation, that a lot of the studios, like Disney, Marvel, they're all ready to concede and make the concessions, the negotiations happen, so we can get through this strike. Apparently, it's reported that Netflix is the huge holdout and the thing that is holding all of this up and the reason this can't go any further. Now, if some of you are wondering, yes, if they're able to get through the writer's strike before July 1st, there is a chance that SAG-AFTRA will not go on strike behind them. Basically, it'll be the blueprint, the beginning of the negotiations for what that profit sharing will look like on streaming. They can use that as the same negotiation point going with the actors and the directors, commensurate to where the difference in pay is. Basically, there are numbers out there they can draw from. They can get this done, but if Netflix doesn't agree, if some of the holdouts on the company side aren't willing to meet, well, then the strike just continues to go on. And it may sound insane that you've got competitors sitting on the same side of the table, that Max, whose streaming competitor is Disney Plus, and say Netflix, whose streaming competitors are Max and Hulu and Disney Plus, are all negotiating together because what's good for Disney Plus may not be good for Netflix. So there's some of that going on where it's complex negotiations. You have all of the studios on one side that are also competitors, and they're trying to work out from their point of view how these negotiations are going to impact their market share. You know, Disney Plus perhaps can afford to make some concessions that maybe Netflix or say Max don't want to make, and vice versa. That makes this ultimately complicated, but if the rumors are right, it's just Netflix holding out. So hopefully they can come to some sort of consensus and soon. But man, we're going to be right back where we were as far as complete delays back in 2020 if they can't get this ironed out. And we are only now a month away from basically all the talent that's behind the camera, in front of the camera, just striking in Hollywood. And I'm going to be the first to come out and say, if this actually happens, I fully suspect Marvel Studios to completely cancel their San Diego Comic-Con Hall H announcement. It will be impossible for them to make any plans at all if we're still in the middle of a strike and we don't know where it'll end weeks before they put any of those dates to paper. So guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. I still am on the writer's side, and I really hope Netflix gets their act together and concedes. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s. The next milestone is less than a month away for Secret Invasion. If you want to be entered to win, super simple, all the same rules always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. Find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name All Fires. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.